Thanks so much for tuning into another makeup tutorial. This one is all about Nicki Minaj. Duh, she's like a makeup queen. So this one is all about, inspired by her Vibe Magazine cover for this month. So check it out. It's on the shelf. She has this orange, red, new kind of wig thing going on. I think it's gorgeous. But I hope you guys love the tutorial, and thanks so much for tuning in. So I'm going to start off by applying my maroon velvet finish primer directly onto the face. We want to lock in our makeup. We don't want it to move around, so I'm going to use a foundation brush to apply the primer all over the face. Next up, while we let our primer sit into the skin, I'm going to use MAC's Paint Pot in Painterly to cover the lids, and again, just another step to lock now our eyeshadow into place once we begin the shadow application. Alright, so next up we are adding kind of this orange shade. It really is a nice soft way to accentuate your eyes. She doesn't have a lot going on in the eyes this time, so you definitely want to just pack this shadow over MAC's. Alright, so we're repeating that same technique on the other side, just making sure to get really close to the base of the lashes. Now, using the outer corner of the same brush, I'm just going back into the crease, working those inner contours on the inner corners of the eyes, and then also just blending out the color. Now I'm using a dark brown matte shadow to create a contour. I'm actually going a little bit above my crease because my eyes are shaped a little bit different than Nicki's, so I'm trying to mimic her shape by doing this. And then I'm going back in with a flat, not a flat brush. This is actually a fluffy brush. I know my shapes, ladies. So I'm actually using that to blend in that brown into the warm orange that we first applied. Alright, so now I'm using a L'Oreal's liner here. I am lining the eyes. You just really want to wing it out there on the edge, but you want to be very careful, so take your time. It is a very precise application. Don't rush it. Alright, so now I'm going into my brows with a slightly lighter color than my brows and what you'll typically see me do on some of the other videos. This one is a little bit lighter because it matches what Nicki has, especially for this look, and a lot of times her brows are a lot lighter, so that's what we're going for. Alright, still working on those brows. Brows are so important to framing the face, so don't rush yourself through this at all. Take your time. Now I'm using my Makeup Forever concealer under the brow as a brow highlight. This is really going to make that shape that we've worked so hard to achieve really stand out on the face and come forward. It's going to frame the face wonderfully, and Nicki does this, but other stylists do this as well. It's just a great technique to really highlight that shape that you've created and worked so hard for on your brows, especially when you're not doing them the way you would typically do. So you definitely want to highlight that. Alright, so now that we've finished our eyeshadow, I'm using that same concealer, bringing it actually under the eyes. This is a more natural, typical application here, and just going very carefully up against the lower lash line and blending downward with a blending brush. This is actually a small concealer brush. I believe in multi-use of products, but you definitely want to pat it into the skin. Most importantly, we're getting that edge on the outside of the eyes that you'll see a lot of your favorite stars doing, and that just really is going to bring out the cheekbones, and it's also going to create a highlight. So you definitely can blend with your fingers, ladies. Blend, 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 and blend the concealer into your skin. Alright, so now we're repeating on the other side, and it is like a little triangle area that we're going for down the sides of the nose, again, under the lash line, and just working it and work that product into the skin. Don't be shamed, don't be scared. You definitely want to just make sure that it is all cohesive and blends right in. So I'm working this concealer a little bit more in that area. Alright, so we're working it down the bridge of the nose as well. We really want a well contoured and highlighted look here. It's definitely a Nicki Minaj trait, makeup trait that you'll see her do. So also bringing that down under the chin, along the sides of the lips. I love, love, love this move. I haven't used it enough. I'm definitely going to start using it more. It really makes the lips look more supple and plump, and if you have smaller lips, it's really going to make you look like you have fuller lips. So a great trick for women that may have smaller lips. Also prevents your lipstick and your lip color from bleeding. So it's definitely some practical applications for doing concealer outside of the lip, more so than just creating, you know, magazine ready looks. There's some practical uses and everyday uses that we can all learn from too. Alright, so to lock in our highlights and really make those set, I'm using Ben Nye's white powder, and I'll come back and brush that off in just a bit, but I kind of want that to sit on the face and just kind of sink in the skin. When we come back, we'll brush that off, and right now I know I'm going to look a little bit ghostly, but I'm just working those over the areas that we've highlighted, down the bridge of the nose, and then we'll also add a little bit to that concealer that was placed under the lips and on the chin as well. So I look a little scary, right? Ooh, scary. And mascara, so you definitely want to work your lashes. Feel free to add lashes if you want. Alright, so now I'm using my Black Opal Beautiful Bronze Cream Foundation to work the contours of the face. So going up under the cheekbone. Your cheekbone is usually just right down there by the ear. You can kind of feel the bone there if you need a little bit help finding it. But this is where I'm going to work that cheekbone, and then I'm using a flat edge foundation brush to really just kind of place the product there, and then we'll come back and we'll blend it. So it won't look as harsh. It will kind of all blend together, but it's definitely going to add more dimension to the face, which is huge when you're doing video shoots and photo shoots, but it's also a nice thing for everyday use. And once I show you guys my kind of everyday routine, you guys will understand how you can use this in a more practical application that's more useful for, you know, maybe every day or going out. But this is really fun. It's a great way to contour your cheeks. It's a great way to have fun and learn some new things for makeup. So hope you guys are tuning in and taking notes. Alright, so next up, blush. We're going to add some color to these cheeks. I'm actually going to take it from the back of the cheekbone, working from the temples inward, because she does have such a wide kind of cheek area. She really does a different kind of cheek here than that's typical, so I'm kind of working it more under the cheekbone to give us a little bit more lift on the cheeks. So just working that product right over, kind of just above where we did our contour. Hope you can see that. Now I'm taking a lighter shade of pink blush and I'm working that on the tops. So you're going to have this gradation of color, and everything's going to blend together once we start our blending process. But just so that you can see, just right along top, the darker pink shade, then we are taking our light pink shade and going there, and we'll blend it all together. Alright, so as promised, we are now blending it all together. I'm using my Studio Gear Kabuki brush to work that product. I mean, blend, 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 girlfriend, like there's no end. You just want everything to come together, be flawless, and you just definitely, you still see that little bit of a harsh line. There is a point and a reason for all of that madness. I know, it's going to make sense, I promise. So now I'm still blending, working that same kabuki brush along the hairline and the jawline, and just really working it, working it, working it. When in doubt, continue to blend. The same thing along the jawline. Alright, so now we're using that black opal cream foundation yet again, and we're working the contours on the sides of the nose. So this is really important. I am using a fluffy brush to do this. You can definitely use your fingers, so don't feel like you need to go and buy 1,000 products to create this look. You can definitely use your fingers. It does take a little bit of skill, but with my help, you'll definitely be able to get the look, because in some of the other videos, I definitely use my fingers for this. But this is a Sonia Kushit's brush. Alright, so on to the lips. I'm applying MAC's lip liner in Current to the lips. And again, not rushing the lip application at all. Take your time, ladies. No rush. This is not one of those quick and easy looks to recreate. I think definitely when you're doing it on yourself, you'll definitely be able to move a little bit faster, but you also want to make sure that you're following coloring inside the lines of your lips. So you definitely want to do that. It's all a part of creating that really great shape, in addition to having that concealer right outside of the mouth. This is, very important. So now I'm going over it, applying MAC's Pink Fusion, a lip color, to the lip, going over the Current lip liner as well, very carefully. So there won't be any gloss in this look. If you check out the magazine, she didn't have a glossy pout at all. So this is kind of a satin color. I do believe hers was a little bit more matte than even this one. All done. Thanks so much, you guys, for tuning in. I hope you guys love it. Find out the products on the blog, Trina J Makeup, and thank you so much for tuning in. Stay tuned for more great videos.